to Family Wealth Planning Partners. I'm Brian Ramsey, and this week we're continuing our series around questions that you should be asking your financial advisor, or questions that you might want to consider asking if you're interviewing a new advisor. This week's question is pretty simple, and that is, what fees would I pay if I become a client? Now, I know that there's potentially fees up front when you invest money with an advisor, and there could be potentially fees later on down the road that you might run into. So you want to make sure that you fully understand across all aspects of what you're doing with that advisor, what fees you're going to be paying along the way. Now, you might run into an advisor that's more transactional based, meaning they're going to trade mutual funds or, say a stock or a bond or something, and they receive, let's say, a commission up front, but there's going to be fees associated with that. So you want to make sure you understand what those fees are going to be if they trade that particular security. You also want to make sure that you fully understand what fees are associated with that particular security. Mainly exchange traded funds, mutual funds, holdings of that nature have what they call internal expense ratios, meaning that particular fund is going to have an expense associated with it. Now, you don't necessarily see that expense come out, but you have to know it's there, and so you want to make sure that you understand when you're investing in a particular widget, whatever that widget is, you want to ask the question, what fees am I going to be paying associated with that particular widget? Now, what the advisor may say is, well, you're not paying a fee, but in all reality, you're being charged a fee. You just don't see that fee being withdrawn from your account because it's internal within the fund, and you just want to make sure you fully understand when you invest in a particular widget, what that fee that company is going to charge for you investing in that widget. The third fee is going to be a fee-based fee, meaning, and it's sometimes called an asset management fee. It goes by many different terms, but you want to make sure that if that particular advisor is managing money for you, you fully understand what that fee being charged is. Typically, they're going to give you a quote around 1% or 1.25% or 1.5%, and that's based on a full year fee structure. So typically that fee is broken up into 4 different segments, billed quarterly. That's typically how it's done, not in every case, but typically. So you just want to make sure you understand what that fee is. Then lastly, which is probably the most important fee that you want to ask, and that is, what fee would you be charged if you invested in a particular widget and you decided to remove your money or get your money back out of that widget, let's say a year, 2, 3, 4 years down the road? This is incredibly important because a lot of advisors will say, oh, there's no fee for you to invest in this particular widget, but in all reality, there's a huge penalty or a fee to get out of that widget should you choose to do so. So again, a lot of times they'll say, I couldn't tell you how many clients have come in this door and they've said, well, we invested in this particular widget, and we were told there was no fee associated with it. Well, that was partly true up front. You didn't pay a particular fee, but it's on the back end should you try to get your money out. There's a huge fee. And in most of the times when you're investing in those widgets that have back end penalties, if you will, they have really, really high internal expenses, the expense I mentioned a minute ago. So you just want to make sure if the advisor says to you, Mr. or Miss Investor, you're not paying any fee to get into this widget, I will tell you, you are paying a fee. It's just how you're paying it. Typically, it's in a really high internal expenses, or it is fees or penalties sort of on the back end should you try to get your money out before the maturity date. So again, I know that's kind of brief and quick, but just make sure that when you're interviewing an advisor, or even if you're working with a current advisor and they're saying, hey, I think you should invest in this particular widget, you want to make sure you fully understand what the fees are associated with investing in that particular widget. There could be potentially fees up front, so make sure you understand that. And also make sure you fully understand what the fees are on the backside, or if you decide to pull your money out before a particular maturity date, you're going to want to make sure you understand what those fees are. So if you've got any questions, or you invested in a particular widget and you don't understand what the fees are, feel free to give us a call. Be happy to walk you through it. And if you've got any questions for us about any of our other blogs or podcasts we've done, make sure you give us a call. Talk to you soon.